All right, let's talk about where this could potentially go then. Instead of the world falling apart, it could be gutted. Trump reportedly plans to purge the deep state if he wins next election. Will use executive order to strip employment protections. That's about it. They're saying up to 50,000 employees could be fired. I'm voting for Trump. That's it. That's all. You say that to me, good sir, and I'm like, okay, I'll vote for you. There's a lot Trump could do wrong at this point. I'd still vote for him.
Come on, baby. Take me back. I won't hit you again. Come on. No way. He said he was going to do it the first time.
Not like this. Trump actually did implement executive order Schedule F, and then Biden reversed it. So Trump began the process of trying to fire these guys. These bureaucrat administrative state people have protections. But I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter. Joe Biden is spitting on us and beating us over the head. And my worst case scenario is like, this guy's promising to do better. It's already bad. Plus, under Trump, the economy was good. I'll take it. What else?
What about your DeSantis push?
See, that's what I was saying. I said, I don't think DeSantis would fire everybody like Trump would. And then all of a sudden we get a report that Trump wants to fire everybody. There we go.
Do you think Trump's listening to you? Do you think that's what
That's what happened. Yeah. I said, Trump, fire everybody. And then Trump was like, I think I'm going to fire everybody.
Yeah.
What if DeSantis said he's going to fire everybody as well? Would you vote for him over Trump?
Well, maybe. The thing is, that is big. And if DeSantis said he was going to go in and fire everybody the exact same way, that's a huge advantage. I don't know, though. I think Trump's got a bone to pick, right? I think what really makes me believe Trump would do it is he wants revenge. That's it. DeSantis would probably try to negotiate and simmer things down and then get taken advantage of, because that's what Trump tried doing. He's like, I'm going to drain the swamp. He gets in and then says, okay, we'll bring Bolton in, fine. Got knifed in the back for that one. Now I think Trump, they really, really went after him. I think he wants revenge for Russiagate. So it's that. It is his anger over Russiagate and being impeached for Ukrainegate, where I think he's going to go in and just be like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Ron DeSantis doesn't need revenge.
But then what after? Like, if he fires everyone, is he going to be trusted? Like, can we believe that he's going to install? Well, it kind of matters after that. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say. Do you really want a guy who's angry and wants revenge as president of the United States?
I don't mind the anger, but like, if he cleans house in the first year, what happens after that? How do we know that he's not like...
We have less government.
Yeah, but like, how do we know he's not going to be advised? Well, just let this guy come in, and then it's kind of all going to go back. Like, how do we know that he's going to be able to reinstall something?
Because I think rock bottom exists. Mm-hmm. And I think what we've looked at with the Uniparty over the past several decades is so far down, we've hit mantle.
No, rock bottom would be like Fallout. We don't, that's
Fallout?
Not, like the Fallout universe, the video game after this like post-nuclear apocalypse.
No, I'm talking about with the corruption of our government. When Marjorie Taylor Greene told us that there's like 2 people sitting in the House and then they're just like, yay, passed. Next bill. What was that? Is that a yes? Whatever, passed. Did you know that's what they do? Mm-hmm. Congress doesn't even go in to vote. It is so broken at this point. Okay, you're fired. Get rid of all of it. And then it's like, but then we'll have no government. I'm like, okay. You've not made a negative point yet. That's a net positive in my opinion, considering how bad it's been. Now there's the potential that Donald Trump appoints a bunch of authoritarian fascists. It's not going to happen either. Donald Trump was going to bring in people like Peter Navarro and Kash Patel, who we've already seen, who are actually pretty good. And so it's like, okay, he guts. They're saying that they don't have to gut 50,000 people, just enough to where people stop being corrupt because they know they'll get purged. It'll straighten things out. All right, well, I'll take whatever I can get. The system's already broken, right? Someone already stole my TV. I don't got a TV anymore. Donald Trump says we're going to go in and we're going to arrest all these people and get them out of there, and we're going to deal with the police department. I'm like, oh, whatever. I mean, my stuff's all gone. Do something.
I think the system's always been kind of janky, like put together by duct tape and string. And then the American Constitution was pretty cool, and it makes it run. Like the engine is turning. Everything's okay. It's pumping out a lot of carbon, but you know, it's functioning even though it's held together by duct tape. And if you don't constantly like keep patching it up, it's just going to break and then fall on the ground. So we're in that stage of like, why is it shaking so fast? I don't know. I don't want to touch it. I'm going to get killed if I get near it. No, we got to do something about this.
You know, maybe the transmission is a little bit old on this old rickety country, and you got to take it apart, clean it out, and reconstruct it. You know what I mean? Just put it back together.
In order to do that, you got to stop the machine for a little while, and that's
Trump
not
firing
possible.
Everybody would be fantastic.
Isn't that what the woke think? That this country needs to just be broken apart and start again?
No, they think you need to take the transmission out, shatter it to a million pieces, and then try and put some...
And build a new one.
Or put nothing in place. They think this machine is producing carbon and it needs to be pulled out, and then we'll be great. And you're like, you need the machine. So we have a machine that works really, really well. It's a brilliant system of government. We just need to get rid of the gunk that's stuck in it. You know what I mean? And just pull it out and throw it in the trash. They want to just shatter the machine. They have no replacement.
What I see is another Trump term brings this whole thing that we've been talking about today 10 levels further. You're getting closer to civil war, much, much closer.
They've already written articles saying Ron DeSantis is worse than Trump. Numerous.
They will, of course they will.
So if the argument is that Trump winning escalates it, well, they're claiming Ron DeSantis is worse than Trump. So wouldn't that escalate it more?
One article doesn't mean they all believe
It's not one article. Right? It's numerous articles from numerous personalities all coming out in lockstep, knowing over the past several months, they're saying Ron DeSantis is even worse than Trump. Ron DeSantis he's got the sly, slick tongue, which makes him even more dangerous. Like they said Trump was worse than Hitler. How many times? If that's the escalation they have, Trump is bad. They're trying to claim DeSantis is worse, and they've been doing it for months. If DeSantis wins, it's the same thing. It's not changing. We need to just have someone get in and fire these people and shut it down.
That's not good.
There's no. So what's the alternative? Let the corrupt gut the machine and sink the ship.
Term limits for administrative staff and Congress people. Convention of States.
But perhaps, yes. That's what they're trying to do. Convention of States, amendment for term limits on the deep state. I don't see how any of these things stop the escalation. A convention of states would be the same thing as Trump getting elected.
If we could get the governors together and actually be able to convene on a regular basis, enough of us, governance, we could take control and solve a lot of issues, I think.
I think it's mostly a cultural thing anyways. Like we all know, politics is downstream of culture. It won't change until the culture changes.
The culture, it can't be changed because there's two distinct, fortified cultures.
Sure, but it's not the first time in history that's been the case.
Well, I mean, typically throughout history, when you have two distinct worldviews, they don't just come together and shake hands.
Sure.
They wipe the other side out. So right now we have one culture that thinks children should get sex change surgery and one side that thinks they shouldn't. I don't think there's
not really a compromise there.
You have one side that thinks there should be abortion post-viability, elective abortion post-viability, and one side that doesn't. And there's no compromise. That's it. There's none. I don't see how you convince when right now you've got Twitter and Reddit saying you can't call people groomers, and you've actually got people grooming children. You've got a government administration official saying we should give sex change surgery to children. Like, dude.
But they call it affirmation.
Guys, I agree with you on all of this, right?
Sure.
You know that. My concern is, again, just speaking as an outsider, I don't comment on American politics in the sense that I don't live here, I don't pay taxes here. It's your country. You do with it what you want. But the conversation I'm hearing here and with a lot of other people that I meet is like this conversation takes you to a point of no return.
But there's no
This is what I'm hearing, right?
This is why I've been saying I think civil war is inevitable, because there is no circumstance. Do you like the NHS? You're from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Do you like it's called the NHS, right?
It is.
Do you like it?
It's a hard question to answer. Some of it is good, some of it is terrible.
Do you prefer it? Like
to what?
To a private system like we have in the United States?
Well, I've never experienced the American system, so I don't really know.
Would you give it up?
The NHS?
Like if someone came in and said we want to abolish it outright, would you agree to that?
Depends what they put in
We don't have a plan. We just want to get rid of it.
No.
You wouldn't do that?
No, because I want to
Well, come on, compromise with me though. Like, right? We'll how about we get rid of it and then we'll negotiate on what the...
No. Okay. Let's talk about what you're proposing instead.
My proposal is to gut that system because it's evil and wrong.
And replace it with?
Well, we'll figure that out when it comes to it.
Not interested.
So it doesn't matter what you're interested in because we're going to take it anyway. And if you don't listen, we're going to throw a brick through your window. That's the point being made right now in the United States.
I hear you.
So when someone comes out and says we should be able to terminate a viable baby at 8 months if we want to or not, there's literally no compromise.
But that isn't the law, right? So there is a compromise.
It is in I think 7 states and DC. Yes. Yeah. And then you have, I think, how many states have totally banned abortion? Is it 6?
Well, there's a lot of block to it because of the judicial challenges, but I think
Right.
it's 6 in total.
So we're getting to that point. There is, it's
No, but they're not trying to mandate that at the federal level. You can live in a state where that isn't the case, right?
The Democrats are trying to mandate at the federal level that you can abort a baby post-viability up to 9 months. Yes.
That's what Roe v. Wade did for us.
Right.
It made it a federal issue.
But if
Roe v. Wade made it so that you couldn't ban abortion pre-viability. So it was initially a trimester standard, changed to a viability standard. Democrats tried codifying a bill that would allow for I shouldn't say elective abortion in the instance of health of the mother up to 9 months. But there's a trick there. Abortion would mean it would allow for abortion of a viable fetus in the instance of health of the mother. And so the issue there is, if the fetus is viable, it can survive outside the mother. Why kill it? Why legalize the killing of it? So they're like, if you keep this baby for another week, you'll die. So we're going to kill the baby. We could deliver it. We could do a C-section. No, we're going to kill it. So the question is, okay, maybe there's a moral argument to why they wanted to do that. They don't have one. They don't give me one. I've asked numerous progressives. They don't post it online why they want to do it. And so the only thing I can say is they're trying to find a workaround to abort to kill viable babies.
But you have a system in place that prevents that from being the federal law, right?
It could be the Democrats tried to make it federal law.
No, of course, but you've got to be able to coexist with people with whom you disagree in the same society.
So the issue is that I'm saying the disagreements are untenable. There's no compromise. There's no circumstance where, so the compromise was the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Conservatives saying, how about your state can do what you want, our state can do what we want. The problem there is that's one more domino being knocked over towards a civil war. Because the scenario I've presented is what happens when a man and a woman hook up, woman gets pregnant, and then 8 months later she says, you know what, this guy is not right for me. I'm going to go terminate the baby. In Texas, it would be illegal for her to do so. And I think it may be Oklahoma where they have, or it might be like Idaho or something. I'm not sure which one. They have an abortion trafficking law, meaning that if you aid or traffic in abortifacients or tools or helping someone get an abortion, it's a crime. How will Texas deal with the fact that there's a man saying she kidnapped my baby at 8 months gestation who's viable and could survive? If we just deliver it instead of killing it, I'll take it. She can leave. And she goes, no, that would tie me to you. I'm going to go kill it instead. What happens? When she flees to Colorado for an 8-month elective abortion, which she can get, and the father in Texas says, Texas government, please help. She's kidnapped my son. I don't see a solution there. I mean, the way I see it is trying to explain it to pro-choice people would be, imagine a woman kidnapped a baby the day it was born and then went to a state where they were going to let her chop its head off. They'd be like, but it's a baby. And it's like, right. The conservative pro-life people view it the exact same way when it's in the womb at 8 months versus when it's out of the womb at 8 months. So what do you do when there's no federal intervention and the states are forced to decide, how do we save that child from execution? Does Texas invade Colorado, or do they tell the guy, sorry, she escaped the state? No, I think what might happen is Texas would demand Colorado extradite. Colorado would refuse. Then Texas would say, we're not going to allow people to cross. We're setting up a checkpoint now to make sure that people can't do this ever again. And then you'd see state borders popping up. And then you'd probably see vigilantism. The dad who doesn't want his son killed would probably get a posse together. Who knows? That's the escalation without federal intervention. And there isn't any anymore. So the compromise was, we don't like abortion, but we'll let you do it. But now you have people fleeing to go do it. And it's going to create more tension.
That makes sense. My point is, you're going to have to work this out, man. You just are. That's the situation you're in. Or, but see, a lot of people talk about civil war who've never lived through civil war. You don't want it. Trust me.
And that's why the veterans are the ones who are like, please stop.
Right.
We've seen conflict.
And so that's what my take on, certainly in the UK, is like, yes, the woke have gone crazy. The progressives have gone crazy. And some of the response on the right bothers me too. There's got to be a way through.
Okay. Compromise. What level of child sex change are you okay with?
I mean, you're picking on a very specific issue. We can talk about it for half an hour. There's probably some kind of compromise. For example, I employ several people who have gender dysphoria, right? If they want to transition at the age of 16 with parental consent, I don't even know. 16, 17, 18, where should that line be? Right.
Well, we're talking about 7-year-olds.
No, children can't consent.
Well, then you're
It's very simple.
transphobic because this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing in the United States.
I know.
And the government came out and told parents to do it, and Biden did the same
Well,
thing.
see, here's the thing, right? We had a guy on from the Tavistock Clinic in the UK on my show on trigonometry, who was basically a whistleblower saying what was happening in this clinic. Well, guess what? The arguments that people were making about that, exposing what was happening, now the situation is being rolled back. Laws are being changed. People are actually getting to a healthier position on that issue. And I think we're making progress, right? So I do think shining a light on some of the stuff will help over time. But if you want an instant solution, you're not going to get it.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.